know like what hit me, but I feel like something happened where I just all of a sudden really realized my passion for sewing. Like it just kind of combines a lot of the things that I already like to do, and I really want to show it more on my channel. I've watched a lot of people on YouTube who are professional sewists. They all are just so good at it that I feel like sometimes I feel really behind and like I don't always understand what they're doing. But I thought it would be kind of fun to just start showing some sewing videos on YouTube of like a literal beginner. I watched YouTube videos to teach myself how to sew maybe like a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, and now I'm working on making a tote bag. This is how far I am. I've made 2 panels that look like this, and essentially this is just like patchworking. It looks harder than it actually is, to be honest. I just sewed all of these 2.5 by 2.5 little squares together and then added a panel down here. I've gotten to the point now where I need to trim up these side edges because some of this top fabric is hanging off the end, as you can kind of tell right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim that, and then I actually have another panel just like this one. Let me go grab it. Yeah, you can see it better on this one, but I have 2 sides that are a little bit too long of this panel, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim those, and then I will see you guys back here. Okay, so I just finished trimming them. As you guys can tell, they're looking nice and crisp. I love how they look. I cannot wait to see how this progresses. And now I basically have to sew this bottom portion of the bag on. So essentially I'm going to sew these parts together, and this will be the bottom of the tote bag and this will be the top. You'll see what I mean after I'm done sewing, but let's get to sewing this. I actually totally forgot that I need to trim this piece because now it's a little bit wider than these panels, so I'm actually going to go ahead and trim this before I get to sewing. Okay, so I realized that before I sew, I actually need to use these clips that I have. I'm gonna clip my cloths together so that they're easier to sew and they stay straighter. So I actually need to clip them and then I will sew it up. Also, these are like my favorite parts of sewing because you can just like throw on a video. Like I'm watching a live stream right now while I'm doing this, and it's so nice to just like, I don't know, like relax and do something like tactile. I feel like everything is so digital nowadays that it's really fun to just like get off of staring at a screen or like doom scrolling and just do something like sewing. Like go do a craft of some kind. It's honestly so much fun. All right, so I sewed all of my pieces together, so it is looking honestly really good. I do think though that I need to trim up some of these sides because they're not quite even yet, but honestly, it's still looking pretty dang good. So I'm gonna move on to the next step, which I think is adding some type of a backing to it, like some type of like interfacing or something to make it a little thicker. So I'm gonna go see what I have, and then we're gonna trim that up. So I have this roll. I think it's just like basically interfacing, and then you can iron your fabric onto this so it sticks. So I think I'm gonna use a couple of these just to add like a little more thickness to the bag. So we'll see how this turns out. I'm kind of winging this part a little bit, so wish me luck. Okay, this is looking so cute. I'm like so pumped about this. This is basically how the bag is gonna look like when you lift it up. So this will be like the top area, and then this will be the base of the bag. I need to now go ahead and quilt it. I'm really hoping that this batting will be thick enough. Right now, I mean, it's a little thin. I hope I don't regret this at the end, but I think I'm gonna be okay with it just because it's my second sewing project I've ever done. So I just kind of am doing it for practice and to try quilting, and we'll see how it turns out. I still think it's gonna look really cool, but I'm gonna add in some lines, like basically where all of the seams are. I'm gonna do one line on the outside and then one line on the other outside of it, if that makes sense, and maybe add in some lines like at the top.
Side by side we sway there in all the colors.
Guys, I worked on that for like 3 hours. I made a lot of progress that I'm really happy about, so I figured I would show you. So basically, I got all of the lines done horizontally and vertically in the patchworking section, and then I also am starting to add in these quilting lines on this top chunk. I put 2 in right now. I think this is the right side. No, actually, this side. Yeah, so you can see I've added in like 3 lines here, and I'm gonna do the whole thing, I've decided, just for like more stitching practice, because like why not. And then I might also end up doing some to this bottom area, but I don't know if it's gonna look like wonky if I do one and not the other, or I don't know. TBD on whether I'm gonna do the same to this green section, but I'm so happy. You can see like all the lines in these patchworking squares look so clean, and I worked really hard to get them even. But basically what's left now is I have to cut all of these strings. I don't know if you can really see, but there's like a lot of strings. I was hoping the light would catch them, but there's a lot of strings just hanging off of here from all the quilting, so I really need to trim those down. I am so tired. I had to like force myself to stop because I just wanted to keep going. I like love sewing so much. I could literally do it for like 24 hours a day. But for now, I have to go to bed because I work tomorrow. And on top of that, I actually learned that my apartment is doing inspections this morning because it's already the morning. All of my sewing stuff is everywhere, and I have like just clips, bins, scissors, like just everything everywhere. So I need to stay up a little longer and clean. So yeah, I am not gonna probably get that much sleep, but it is what it is. There's never enough hours in a freaking day, but whatever. At least I used the hours that I had. So I did a little bit off camera yesterday actually, because I was just deciding to work super late on it and I just made some progress. But I wanted to show you guys kind of where it's at before I keep on working on it today. So I was able to trim up the bag. So I got it all cut to size and I think it's looking really good. I have to be kind of gentle with it though, because the edges can like fray a little bit, so I'm trying to keep it nice. But essentially this is the top, this is the bottom of both sides, so I'm really loving how this is all looking together. And then I actually just did some like fabric cutting of different pieces that are going to be added onto that. The very first one is a pocket. I thought it would be kind of cute to have a pop of yellow with how the rest of the bag is looking. And I'm going to be sewing this next. It has a little piece of interfacing in it, so I'm going to be working on that tonight. And then I also did some cutting of the straps. So I decided on this strap fabric, so I'm going to iron this, and then these will be two different straps on the top of the bag. They'll be folded so they won't be this thick. And then also there's going to be fabric inside of the bag, basically like the lining, and I thought that this green and this like lemony color or pattern would be really cute. So these are going to be two like on two separate sides of the inside of the bag, if that makes sense. And then I think I'm going to put the pocket on this green one, and it's going to be a little like pop of yellow to match the lemons. I think I'm going to start with the pocket, and basically like I have to sew around the pocket to like get this piece more secure before it goes onto the inner lining of the bag. So I'm gonna go work on that now. I cannot wait for the day that I just have like a full sewing room, because I feel like having all of my stuff in a tiny apartment is just so frustrating, but I am trying my best to make it work. So we're making it work for now. Okay, I know my camera angle is a little weird because it's kind of tilted up against the wall right now, but I'm going to go ahead and sew the pocket onto the fabric. We'll see how this goes. I have to sew 1/8 of an inch, which is really, really tiny, and I hope that I can do it. I did it for one of the parts of the pocket already to like quilt it, but I am not that comfortable with 1/8 of an inch. I'm very new to it, so I have to do it all the way around this border essentially, and we're gonna give it a shot. Okay, that is so cool. Like, what? I made a pocket. Doing 1/8 around wasn't that difficult. It was a little hard, but I feel like I kind of got the hang of it. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is taking the other piece of the inside of the bag fabric, and I'm going to be sewing it onto this one.
2,000 years later.
I just broke the needle on my sewing machine, and I'm just so tired, honestly. I thought I was going to get the tote bag done tonight, and I just didn't, which is fine. I know that I'm still a beginner at this, but like, I just really want to see what my tote bag looks like. I feel like tonight I've just had more setbacks. Like, it's just been kind of frustrating. Next time I'm gonna have to start and replace this needle. I was basically spending my last like 15 minutes of working on this watching a YouTube video on how to change the needle on my sewing machine. Honestly, it's just part of the learning process, so if you're also new at sewing, like, we're in it together, because a lot of the times I don't know what I'm doing and then I just have to YouTube something, so it is what it is. I think it's just part of being a beginner at something. I look exhausted and I feel exhausted, and I really want to finish this tote bag, but I feel like it's best if I just go to bed and just kind of start fresh after like all that happened just now. Hi guys, I decided that it would be a good idea to finally finish this dang tote bag. I've been working on it basically now for like 2 weeks, I want to say. I feel like it's just taken a lot of time, especially while working a job and trying to just find time to actually do this at night. I have the straps that I still need to make out of this like cute little green and white striped fabric. And then I have this interfacing that I need to put inside of that fabric for the straps, but I feel like this will be pretty quick, honestly. It's not too extensive. And then the last part is that I have this lining of the bag, so this will be on the inside. I'm so excited. I need to do a little more sewing on this, but it's pretty much done and ready to attach to the rest of the bag, so I'm just gonna assemble it all, and hopefully this isn't gonna take too long. I was able to sew the inside and the outside of the bag and get them almost finalized. I basically just have to cut out these little triangles at the bottom to kind of like make the bag not a square shape. I want to like have it a little bit more rounded at the bottom. So I was able to sew the inside part of the bag, and I need to trim these two corners, and then I also need to do the same thing to the outside part of the bag, and then I will be able to add the handles on, and then I think we're pretty much finished. This should be like maybe 10 minutes of work, not even. So we're finally gonna get to see the bag. Oh my gosh, thank God, thank God. I also feel like you guys could make this a lot quicker too than I did, but honestly I just wanted it to look like as perfect as I could get it because I've just taken so much time on it. Let's go wrap this bag up, and I will see you guys when it is done. Now I basically just have to turn the bag inside out through this little hole that I made and kind of like push it through a little bit. And the handles were just sewn on, so they should be in there. And this should be basically the end of the project. I just need to sew together this little hole after. This part always looks so funny when you're like flipping your project back through, like it just looks so goofy. That's a bad sign. Okay. Well, one handle did not fully get put on, so I'm gonna have to fix that, which is fine. But I think the rest of it is actually looking pretty dang good. But this is looking really good otherwise. Like, oh my gosh. That's crazy. I made a whole tote bag. I'm gonna fix this handle and then we'll take a look at the final product together. I'm honestly so excited with how this bag turned out. I actually took it to Father's Day brunch with my dad and it held up, which is great. It's honestly like so beautiful. The only thing I'm a little disappointed about is that the bag definitely got sewn on the sides inside out, which honestly it's such a beginner mistake, but you can definitely tell. I've had to like just kind of cut the threads on the sides, and I honestly don't really plan on fixing it just because like it's one of my first ever sewing projects, so I don't really care that much. I don't feel like people are gonna notice it that much to really care either, and I would rather just kind of jump on more projects. Also, I have a thread on me. I feel like that's such a like sewist thing, is finding strings everywhere. But I'm so proud of it. I think the inside turned out so cute. I think that's my favorite part about it, is like the little lemon pocket on the inside and like just these lemons. I think it's so cute. But yeah, for being my second project, I'm pretty dang excited about it and I cannot wait to make more things. So please send any comments of anything you guys want to see me make. I really want to try making either scrunchies or zipper pouches next. I think those are like the next 2 projects that I'll tackle. I would love to sell some of my items eventually too, once I'm good enough to do that. So comment down below what you want to see. I'll see you guys for the next project. Bye!